Well, trying to get ready for paint as quick as I can. I'm gonna reuse the tape and plastic job that the texture guy did, but on this plastic where you can see the texture material sticks to it, it's just gonna flake off. So that's a thing to watch out for. I mean, immediately it was apparent the second that I was considering start spraying. It's like second the air from the sprayer hits that, or even just the paint, the paint flying is going to start sending this stuff all over, landing in the wet paint and everything. So I'm just knocking it off all the plastic, and I'm going to come through and clean it up. I should really shop vac it, but that's not my plan. My plan is I'm just going to get my blower. It's just a cordless leaf blower. I'm just going to blast it all out of there. So like this one, for example. Now that's obviously just making a mess of the floor, but kind of my thing is I had to run and get the sprayer, so I'm going to spray everything. I'm going to first spray primer all around the door and at least a couple of the windows, if not all the windows, and then the primer's 30-minute dry time, and then I'm going to shoot it with the paint, and that way I'm pretty much right up to the edge and I can open up this door all the way and get a little bit more light. And then I still have some more things to do, so like this little seam right here, I'm going to caulk that all up. So I got a 6-pack of the Alex Paint Flex, whatever, kind of the standard pre-painting caulk. And so I'm just going to kind of get some stuff ready, go through and retape anything that got missed, and then just prime and paint several critical areas so that I can then get the door up, and then I'll really go through and prime everything, at least downstairs, and then I'll come through and paint everything, at least downstairs. Then I'll probably move upstairs. That way it seems maybe a little bit easier to be switching the paint back and forth than trying to run the machine up and down the stairs with the extension cord. So that's my plan. So probably figure paint will be flying in about an hour once I do the caulking and the taping and get the rest of these windows cleaned up. We'll update. All right, I just shot the first 5 gallons primer. So I'm borrowing this grayco from my friend. It's a 390. Seems really nice. It's cool. He's got an extension sprayer, but mainly I would say it's just a little setup time. There's YouTube videos on how to do that, but I'd say it's well worth it. I know Home Depot rents them and slightly smaller ones and slightly bigger ones. This Valspar PVA primer seems all right. The only thing is it dries fast. So what I'm kind of finding is I ran up those stairs and I shot this whole side, and then I came down, I went up the scaffold, I started shooting, and I was kind of I'm kind of looking at what I already sprayed, and it looks like, oh, I missed a spot, but it's really more where it's a little bit lighter, it dries faster. So the only thing is just kind of, there's a sea of white up there. So in my experience, maybe have a pretty good idea of where you broke off the last spray. Because for that 5 gallons, all I really got was around these windows to the floor, all these windows to the floor, from here over all the way to the top, and basically right here down, ceiling and everything. So at that rate, I'm gonna run out of primer. So I was, it's my first time using it, so I really think I overdid it on the primer. But basically that stuff's gonna flash pretty quick, and I'm gonna try out this, the Montage. I got it upside down just to help mix it a little easier. And also, it's a 50-foot hose, so there's a lot of primer still in the hose. But it does seem like I'm burning through it quick. So this Montage Signature Amazon special, it's Swiss coffee, like an off-white. So I'm gonna start mixing this up, and I'm gonna edge everything that I did and basically spray all around the door, so then I can yank this plastic off and get this door wide open. It's not bad because this is a huge area, but it's starting to get a little air quality is going down. Let's put it that way. Matter of fact, I can even see it on the phone a little bit. So that's the update. Well, there's the difference between primer and the Swiss Coffee. It's pretty slight. It's as you can see, it's just a bit of an off-white. You know, in the bucket, it's kind of the same on the wall. So there's the pure white primer, and then there's the Swiss Coffee. I don't know. It's for me. I'd like maybe just a little bit more color, but you know, I'll try to get this in several different lights. Here I haven't primed yet, so we have no reference, but right there you can see the line. So, so far so good. That's all painted over there. Right above me is primered, and then actually to the left of me is primered. I'm about to roll the scaffold over and start hitting all that stuff. That's just texture, no primer yet. So it's going good. A little slow up and down the scaffold though. All right, just sprayed the last of the primer. Everything's primed all up here. And then I just sprayed the flat white paint on the ceiling. So that's a little streaky because it's drying. I did pop the little cover off of this so that fan's working. Still a little tough to breathe, but I got my respirator on. So here's what it looks like in primer. The primer is nice. It's really bright. It's bright white, almost like a hint of blue, which is clean, but it'll be a little more creamy here in a minute. So I'm just hooking up the last two 5 gallons of the Swiss Coffee. So these two 5 gallons are gonna do all these walls. None of the ceilings, because the ceilings are already flat white, including the stair walls too. So it's just got to make it down into the landing. And so looking pretty good. I'm going to just go ahead and shoot that, and then start getting some of this tape cut off these windows, get some better airflow, and then I'll do a walkthrough of everything sprayed, and I'll still have to do some brush, you know, some cut in. I'm going to shoot the Swiss Coffee close to the edge, and then just, you know, cut it in with a brush. So that'll be the next one. All right, here's the Swiss Coffee. Everything is, all the walls are Swiss Coffee. The ceiling is the flat white. It is really tough to tell, but once in a while you can just barely tell a little difference. Like this one, I still have to cut in with the brush, so you can kind of see where the flat white and the Swiss Coffee are. but it's really slight. I probably would have went a little bit darker myself, but it will, I think it'll look good because it just gives it a little bit of a contrast. So take a look around. Got a lot of stuff to clean up. I just pulled the plastic off the windows. Got the fan running. I got the cover off the solar tube, both of them. So basically, this amount of light is, I'm gonna say it's probably about 3:30 p.m. and these windows are still covered in this opaque plastic. So it'll be even brighter once the stucco stuff is done, and we'll pull the plastic all the way off. And I mean, this is with absolutely no lights. Matter of fact, that whole panel is just powered all the way down. So it's pretty bright for this time of day already. And it's got a nice breeze that comes through here. It's just, don't hardly even need any AC as long as it's not, I'm going to say over 90. I think it was 81 today, but it feels good in here. So, you know what? This is dry too. I can pop this plastic off. So, that lights it up quite a bit. I mean, and this is with no lights at all, so all those lights will go in. So here's the garage. All this stuff down here is done. The same thing, flat white ceiling, semi-gloss Swiss coffee. I have to do the same job. You can just barely tell a little bit of the creamy Swiss coffee right here on this line. This one I was able to get real close because I could practically touch it with the sprayer because it's lower. So, you know, just got to do that by hand. But this is the lower area. All these moldings and moldings for baseboard, moldings for door case. Everything is all sprayed. I sprayed those this morning. Yeah, I sprayed those this morning. I set them up last night. I sprayed them this morning. So all these rooms are done. On these smaller rooms, I just Swiss coffee'd everything. It didn't get the flat white ceiling. Didn't think it would really even be able to tell. So these are the baseboards that are going to go downstairs. They're more of a basic baseboard, but they're also less of a dusty baseboard. There's very little surface area for them to collect any dust. And then here are the door case moldings, a little fancier. All these. And they're in 17-foot lengths for the door case moldings and 16s for the baseboards. And then here are the taller, more fancy, you know, they had a number. I don't remember the name he had for these, but these will be the baseboards for upstairs. These are the 5-inch baseboards, and those are all the 4-inch baseboards. These were really good price, about $10 a stick for 16 feet. So I thought they were good. They're MDF. You know, real wood would be nice in some ways, but I just don't see it as necessary for something that's going to be primed and painted. If we were going to stain them, real wood would be the way to go. You know, like oak or something. But, you know, these are all, matter of fact, these are going to be dry now, so I'm going to take all these and put them away really neatly, and I'm going to bring in the doors, and I'm going to lay the doors out on here on some sawhorses and spray those. Then after that, I'm going to get rid of that sprayer. I'm going to return it to its owner. So here's the shop. Shop's all Swiss coffee. It's just so stinking high and a pain to do the flat white ceiling and brush it, cut it in with the brush. But that fan is now working, so that's helping to get everything ventilated. And we got a good breeze, so stuff is drying. So probably this is really the last video I'll make of the paint. One thing I did after the fact, after I sprayed, I came through and I brushed real heavy on the top of these windowsills. In fact, I might even do a whole nother coat, just because that's the spot. If I leave these windows open, you know, maybe it could get a little wet there. So I just want to have a lot of semi-gloss paint on those. They turn out good. And today's pretty good solar production day too. So take one more look around. put those lights up yesterday. I gotta put all those lights up in here, but obviously after I finish the cut-in painting stuff. So, looking really good. That pretty much wraps up the paint.